We appreciate y'all, the chatters, the haters, the lovers. Ashton, you're muted, so we can't hear you.
I have something to say about that super chat with reference to Jess needing more wood. The only reason why I was laughing, Jess, I had a flashback from last year when I was watching the panel and your boyfriend or man or husband walked into the kitchen and you're like, ah.
Who's
And then
that?
Anton said, oh shit, that's the man who's drinking the milk?
Oh, you said Jazz or Jess?
Yeah, Jazz, yeah.
Oh.
The super chat that made reference to Jazz needing more wood.
What does needing more wood mean?
Never mind. Let's move along.
Oh, geez.
Let's get to the next topic. Red pill. This is for all you red pill men in the comments. We see you. It's a lot of y'all in the chat. Here y'all go.
What is going on with the way men are talking to women these days?
Oh, it's the red pill content. And it's now so officially widespread and unavoidable that whilst it was originally aimed at people in like their 20s and high school, middle school years, it's reached people in their 30s and 40s. And I want to talk about it today because I've started to notice it too. Although in fairness, it really started to pick up and gain traction around like 10 years ago. So males in their 20s are now in their 30s and approaching their 40s. And this is how you ruin entire generations and spans of males and dating for everyone. And if you're not familiar with red pill content, it's a lot of things now, but originally started as like male, like gym bro influencers trying to like teach beta males how to get women, but they would teach them all the wrong things so that they never actually got women and they would be continually reliant on their channels. But a huge problem with that, besides the fact that men are literally just keeping each other down, is that women also have to deal with the outcomes of this because it's teaching them to treat women like garbage. And apparently that's how you get girls, which obviously never works. And it became so prevalent that I literally gave up on dating a few years ago because it was so irritating to deal with such horrible little men.
Okay. Do you guys think that red pill men are ruining relationships of today? Nikki, Angel?
No, I do not.
You don't think these men that are on these podcasts, having a mic, saying what they're saying, preaching what they're preaching, what is that? The Tonight's Conversation guy. We have other podcasters. You don't think that's kind of brainwashing some of these men at times?
Give me an example of give me one example of what you think may be a little bit extreme.
No, it's not extreme. It's just their talking points. It's some of their talking points. Oh, go ahead.
So for me, I just think that man it's just a little soft right now. I think that and this is going to be probably a little confrontational, but I really just think that women have ruined our communities. I also think that is a product of us being single and dealing with the stuff we're dealing with, single motherhood. And it's a product of our society. We raising emotional men. They don't have anyone else to look up to. And I think that we have a voice and people have been listening to us for decades say the things we do, denigrate men. And I just feel like it's okay for men to have a space.
I do think, though, that some of the rhetoric that they spew, I think, is definitely a detriment. So, for an example, to give you an example, maybe what Q would be talking about is, oh, to get a woman, you must ignore her or ignore that B, or, you know what I mean? Don't if she's going on a date with you, don't spend no money on her or give her X, Y, and Z test, right? So I don't necessarily think red pill, I guess.
Right. What part of that don't work?
When I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think that we as women realize how far we have pushed men to just have a voice. You get what I'm saying? I think that it's gotten to the point where they're just like, okay, now some of that is, some of it's right. I'm not going to.
It's women's fault. The men ain't men.
I won't say
with a bit more context, depending on that situational, but for the most part, just from what I'm seeing, if we talking about overall, I say it's everybody's fault. First of all, I want everybody to take accountability for the BS. That's what I want. But that's not going to happen because I think that we have been empowered and emboldened for so long to just operate out of our emotions, and the men been kind of just like happy wife, happy life, you know. And that's just not cool, because sometimes we can be a bit irrational. So I don't think that men should cower down. I think they should stand up. I even think that, for me, it would be beautiful if we can go back to the old days where men would no way possible let these gangs take over our streets. It just wouldn't happen, because they would get out there and they wouldn't be dependent on, well, where's the white man and he gave it to us. You ain't selling dope on this street.
No. See, guys have wised up. Go, Angel.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
I think the red pill community.
Hold on. Go ahead, Angel.
I can say this. With a lot that I see, especially with me being as young as I am, and like experiencing like
how old are you?
Talk to different men and stuff like that. It's like,
how old are you, Angel?
24. I feel like I feel like women have done a lot to men, and I feel like men are now trying to take back like their worth by like, okay, I've recently just learned about this red pill dude. So from the ones that I have heard was like, you know, they don't spend money on a girl, don't text her back as fast, stuff like that. And I feel like it's a way to not be in a way, it's a way not to be the woman's like on call person, you know, because as women, I feel like I don't know how to explain this. Like as women, we like so quick to, I don't know, like want them to do this and that, and like for them not to text you back as fast, or for them not to buy you something first just to see what you're going to do or how you're going to present yourself to them is another reason why they're like taking a stand on doing something about, you know, like just living in the like masculine areas and things like that.
Like the buy me the Birkin culture.
If it wasn't a market, like if everybody was satisfied and all guys was being successful and all of that, then y'all saying it wouldn't even exist, right? Because think about it. You can't create a market for something where people have no interest in. All right, let's go back. Do you realize that every single song in the 90s was the opposite? It was dudes begging, baby, please.
Yeah. Like
please don't go. Whatever it takes.
Back to the 70s.
Amen.
Yeah, they've been begging forever.
They've been begging since the 60s.
As they should.
I mean, so no, they shouldn't.
No, the hell. Shit.
Think about it. The guy that begged y'all is not the guy that y'all want.
He the one, man.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. I feel like too, even out with the songs now, I feel like it's to kind of placate the male ego a little bit. And I will say this: it's easy to say red pill conversations are X, Y, and Z, right? Until we have to hold men accountable. For an example, we can even bring up Kevin Samuels, right? His original content focused on having men become better men, right? But then he kind of switched his rhetoric a little bit to have his conversations have more red pill philosophy to it.
You're
so
wrong.
Yeah, you said I'm wrong.
100%.
Women got in his business.
Kevin.
I was gonna say women was calling him.
Hold on.
But
The fact of the matter is this.
The
fact of the matter is this. Kevin was harder on men than he was on women.
As he should. He's a man. He can tell men how to do it.
But you're missing it. All red pill is it tells you the truth of what the nature is that you're facing. It's not to tell you you may have a bad actor that labels themselves red pill and gives a bunch of bad advice or say, hey, this is how you go fuck hoes or all of this other type of stuff. That does not automatically mean that that's what red pill represents. And it's gotten a bad name because of the different actors that then take it and manipulate it into being something completely different. All red pill is to tell, red pill can be applicable to anything. It's not just to women. It's not just to relationships. It could be money. All it does is it removes the veil from your eyes to show you what the truth is. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple different examples. The truth is, for example, is that if you get married without a prenup, but you get married to somebody that wasn't originally shooting in the gym with you, then it's a strong possibility that the family court laws that is set up at a time where women didn't have the options that they have today could put you at a disadvantage and have her take half of your shit when she wasn't with you shooting at the gym. That's just the truth. That's not something that they made up. The truth also is that women advocate against updating family court laws while advocating for the freedom to do what they want to do, while at the same time saying we deserve just as much pay as men because we work just as hard. So why wouldn't you update family court laws that were created at a time that wasn't beneficial? You know, it was beneficial to women because women didn't have the same rights that they have today. The truth is that women advocate against it.
Anton, what laws need to be updated?
Give me a second. Give me a second. On the flip side, you can say economically, you know, the truth is you can't spend your way to wealth. You know what I'm saying? On a very basic level, we always say, oh, generational wealth. It's a bunch of bullshit. If you break down the true cost of home ownership, it's not necessarily beneficial for everybody because we don't take into account the true cost of maintenance, property taxes, escrow, and that's why you see a lot of people on the internet right now saying, oh my God, my mortgage jumped from $3,500 to $5,400 a month because they didn't take into account all of the additional costs. And you can say, oh, okay, well, generational wealth is making sure that we own a home forever. But in reality, you're not taking into consideration the true cost of when your property increases in value, you don't get that realized value because you didn't sell the house yet. And you're getting this 30-year mortgage in which the first 10 to 15 years, you're only paying interest. So you're dependent on the value of the house to raise. But then at the same time, you're paying more maintenance and you're paying more property taxes, which it creates a net negative sometimes depending on where you actually buy that property at. So the truth is that it's not just a term that we can apply to it to say, hey, everybody buy a home, because it's not conducive for your lifestyle depending on where you buy it, how you buy it, what your property taxes are, and how much it skyrockets. You see everybody in DC, a lot of them are going into the negative because the federal workers is getting laid off, and now people can't even sell their home because it's flooded. You go over to Florida, you see everybody having a problem selling their home because everybody trying to get out of it. And these condos is you know what I'm saying, they getting high HOA fees. Like, we don't add all of that in there. And so basically all Red Pill is to break down the truth and to remove the veil from the talking points so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. If a dude decides that he still want to get into a relationship even after having the information, cool. It doesn't mean that men are angry towards women. The problem is that women don't like the fact that men are becoming more educated about what they got to deal with.
And what Red Pill meetings, talk about all that?
I don't know any meetings.
Or conversations, because any Real Pill rhetoric I've ever heard do not touch on none of that.
But that's because you're not in the spaces to actually listen to it. If you act, I'll even listen, and I hate to do this. Because I don't even rock with Fresh and Fit. But the truth of the matter is, if I'm being 100% objective, is that most people pay attention to their late night show where they kicking women out. But a lot of their content is focused on making sure that the guys get their education when it comes to finances and cryptocurrency. They do a lot of shows on real estate, finances, cryptocurrency, credit, all of that stuff. But they don't get, and again, I'm not a fan of them or anything like that, but I have to be objective enough to say that they do the majority of their content on educating guys on fitness, making sure that you get healthy, getting your finances right. They do that stuff. That is a part of Red Pill content. It's not all about women. That's just the part that's popularized.
That's what they also push because they know they can get paid by being cruel to women on their show. Like, granted, yeah, there are different levels. And they do have content where they allegedly tell men about, getting fit and getting money, but that's not what their real focus is, because that's not what's driving their revenue. Well, in fact, they've been demonetized from almost every platform. But when they were still monetized, most of their monetization came from the crazy interactions between them and women in their studio. It wasn't because they were going viral for telling men to invest in whatever, and 100 men did so, and they all became millionaires. That never happened. They only go viral from pulling up bullhorns and calling women bitches and throwing them out and telling them that they're the reason that they got raped. I've literally heard them say, "Oh, well, you got to kind of consider you chose him. If you got violated, you're
missing the point.
Pardon?
You're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point. I wasn't even done making my point. If you'll let me finish. So what I was saying was that like what Jess was saying, the overall consensus of red pill is not to prop men up and make them better. That might be a sub part of it, but the majority of it is we're men, they're women, we are better than them, women are the enemy, they're against you, they want to use you, they're no good. They have this negative mindset and idea about women and companionship, and I think that they talk more so to men who never really knew who they were as men and never really had positive interactions with women. And so now those men are bitter and upset because they're kind of lame and they don't really know how to engage with women just off of their personality. So they look at people like Fresh and Fit or these other hardcore red pillars that say, you need the money, you need the access, and that's how you get the bitches. And it's
that's not what they say. And that's not what
you're talking to. That's what they say. That's literally what they be saying. And it's like, you might get a certain type of woman with that. You might attract a certain type of female with that. But for me, when I hear a lot of this red pill shit, it don't sound like any type of man that I would ever want my daughter to date.
What percentage of
they don't even sound like they genuinely like women. They don't even sound like they like women. They just want women to know. They're like, they feel proud because they have a platform to say, I'm a man, I got money, and I can tell you to your face that I only want you around just to fuck you. And if you don't like it, then fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been thrown a bone and now they're carrying it around and thinking that being mean and cruel and nasty towards women is what gets them women.
What are you talking about?
Like very stupid to me. It's very stupid to me.
Listen, I'm not speaking on him. I use him as one example to illustrate a point about the fact. First of all, y'all again, and it just shows you how
everybody has an opinion. Everybody's opinions are wrong.
Wait, Jazz, you gotta let him finish.
You're 100% wrong.
You wrong.
And just because it's your opinion, don't mean it is right.
Exactly. But no,
you're wrong. The fact that listen,
tell me my opinion is wrong.
Do you even know where red pill come from?
You can't tell me my opinion is wrong.
Do you know where red pill comes from?
It doesn't matter. You can't tell nobody their
opinion
is wrong.
Oh, so the plight of African Americans. No. The history and the plight of African Americans, that matters when we're talking about what's going on with Black people in 2025.
We're not talking about them no more. Let's talk about people you don't like.
The inception of where red pill comes from, that doesn't matter. So history only matters when it's applicable to your point. It doesn't matter when it's applicable to everybody else. Actually, where it comes here, I'll educate you a little bit so that you can get some insight. You and Jess. Where it comes from is the movie The Matrix. And what happens in The Matrix is they offer him the blue pill so that he can go into La La Land and still pretend like everything is normal and they're basically being programmed to think a certain type of way. Or you can take a red pill and see the ugly truth of what the world really is. For example, men don't get love. There is no safety nets for us. If we fail, then we just fail. If we don't pay our child support, we go to jail. If we get homeless, then nobody gives a fuck about us. There is no safety net for men. There is nothing that is coming to save us. So what red pill, for example, says is, listen, you got to make sure that you take care of yourself, focus on yourself, focus on getting to the money, focus on being successful. Everything else comes with it. The women comes with it. This comes with it. This comes with it. And then you have the option to choose and you increase your options, or you can decide that you don't want to participate in the first place. Whatever you decide to do is up to you. But all red pill is And y'all got to stop boxing everybody else into the same box. All red pill is telling you the truth of what's going on in the world. That's it. Nothing more. If somebody decides that he want to call a chick a bitch, then that's him. That don't have nothing to do with red pill. If a dude decide that he want to go and get married and give all of his money to his woman, that's him, as long as he knew the truth before he does it. All red pill is showing you what the truth is before you jump into it and put yourself in a situation. And then you can't say that I didn't know better before I did it. That's all it is.
So if that's the case, Anton, how you explained it, would you consider, because you saying that, I wouldn't consider fit fresh that then. How you explained it, I wouldn't see them falling under that category.
Some people are radicalized.
You gave a positive outlook of what red pill is, and they're definitely
positive.
Yeah, but what fresh and fit or not, I feel like they're a fake bunch
Again, the individual actors and how they use the information has nothing to do with whether or not the information is relevant. You can take anything that's good and make it bad. You can take anything that's bad and make it good. Like, you can take something, you can listen, the internet itself was not meant for what we using it for today. Some people take it and they do unscrupulous things and they do some really bad things on it. Other people take it and they use it for something that's good, or they use it to communicate or do more work more efficiently. You can take the tool and make it to be what you want it to be, but the fact of the matter is, it's just showing you the tool. It's just showing you the truth. That's it. Now, y'all want to take different people and try to label it because y'all mad at the fact that guys ain't operating the way that y'all want them to operate anymore. That's on you. I'm gonna say the same thing that the women say. Who hurt you?
Yeah, when I hear a lot of the red pill talking points, it just doesn't seem like it's advocating for men and women to come together in a positive way. It's always about keeping women under your thumb and looking at a woman instead of like a companion or somebody that can actually add value to your life as like somebody to use, and they're an enemy towards you.
Because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of women that don't add value to your life. They look
okay, but there's also a lot of women that do. So my thing is, if we know that there are a lot of women that aren't like that, why is the obsession with talking about the women that are toxic and are negative?
Because in our culture today,
if you are
there's
a grown
more
man,
negative than positive as far as different women.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Absolutely
that's
true.
What
That
we,
is
that's
true.
what then that's
Yeah.
what these men are.
True.
Then that's
and
what
when we
these men
solve
are
for a problem,
deliberately
when you
choosing
solve for a
men,
problem,
then they need to choose better.
the
Then they need
majority.
to choose better.
When
Then
you
they need
solve
to choose
for a
better.
problem,
Because if we
you
know,
solve for the majority, you do not solve for the minority.
no,
If
but
you
the
have
thing
a
is,
small
Anton, you
group
can
of
play all
women
these
over here
semantic
that
gymnastics
are
games
good
all you
women,
want.
and then you have the majority of the women over here that got the same fucking starter kit. They look the same, they talk the same. The majority of them think the same, they operate the same, and they doing the same thing against guys, and they getting the same results. Then you got to look at the majority and say, you know what? That doesn't make sense.
That's not the majority, though, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it becomes the majority because everybody is hyper fixated on the negative aspects of women and men and dating in general.
But you're hyper fixated on the red pill.
I don't have these weird ass problems with men. Right, the women in my life, we don't have these weird ass problems.
I don't have problems either, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't.
I'm not around men. I'm not around grown single men that are established that have this nasty viewpoint towards women.
Well, how like
they don't fear dating. They don't fear dating.
You already made up in your mind, so it don't matter.
They don't fear dating because somebody gonna use them. They're living their lives and they're intentional with how they move, and they're also very selective on who they date. I think a lot of times these men, right, who are obsessed with the red pill and kind of misconstrue the message, because I'm not saying there isn't a positive thing to take from it, but I think they use it as a way to, like, instead of finding a good woman that compliments them, they want someone to dominate over because they've been played before. So
or they just realize that they don't need women at all, and women are a help. See, that's the thing. We're getting back, and y'all mad because guys finally got a microphone.
Nobody is mad at y'all. I'm more so mad because y'all fixated on negative things, and you wonder why you don't.
How are we fixated on negative things? I, like you,
Yeah.
for example, I don't have problems in my life, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to advocate for updating family court laws, because I think that when you're in a position of power, you should use your platform for things that actually is transformational and not wait until you're under duress to have a conversation about it. Because at that point, nobody cares.
Anton,
Okay,
what needs to be updated?
Who created these laws that you want women to advocate to change?
What you mean? It was necessary. I think that the laws were
That's
good.
not what I asked you. I asked you who created the laws that you want women to now advocate to
legislators.
change.
They
And,
did it for the protection
and
of
legislators. Who were these legislators?
I don't know them by name. If that's
You
what
don't
you're
know them by
asking.
name. Were they majority women? Were there majority women?
No, they were men.
They were men. Okay. So if they were men, right? Why is it up for us as women to advocate for these changes? If men are upset about the laws that they created, shouldn't they be the ones advocating to change it?
I can answer that question for you. And I'm going to make it very simple. Because at the time that they were created, you didn't even have the ability to vote.
Okay, so now that we do now,
wait. We get
for not going upside our head.
We created it to protect you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now that we've gotten past that.
Wait, because I know that you want to do this. But now, when y'all have the choice to do what you want, you know what you
just be logical.
You advocated for feminism. You advocated against family court. I mean, advocated against keeping the family together. We attached ourselves to Section 8. We attached ourselves to the federal government, and they incentivized us to break up our family. When y'all had the option to choose for yourselves, and it's not every woman, but a lot of women, this is exactly what happened. And then they hijacked.
And is that what's still happening?
White women incentivized y'all. White women incentivized y'all. Hijacked the civil rights movement, replaced it with the feminism movement. That was just then hijacked and replaced by the LGBTQ plus community in addition to DEI. And so what happened was y'all realized that it didn't benefit y'all, but at the same time, you still advocated against it because by the time that you aged out, nobody gave a fuck about y'all opinion no more. So when we created something, when you didn't have the ability to do it for yourself, that was good for you to protect you because you didn't have the ability to work for yourself and make the same type of money as us. Now that you're equal, now that your vote means the same,
you want me to
now that
thank
your
you for
vote
treating
means the
women like
same as ours. Now
you
that
want
you're
me to thank
equal,
men for finally treating women like human beings?
Now that you
deserve
guys,
an award for that?
Stop, because you're the main one that tell people don't overtalk you. Don't interrupt you when you're talking. And this is exactly what happens.
Start making some sense. Because my patience is running thin.
Now that you have the ability to work and do what you want to do and vote how you want to vote and choose where you want to live, and you don't have to subject yourself to a man, and you pick how you want to pick, and you have free autonomy with your body, your choice. You control the access to be able to birth a child. You do whatever the fuck you want. Now we're saying, okay, well, since we're going to make it equal, let's make it equal across the board. You should not by default get the kid if you're not the best parent. You should not by default automatically be put on child support. And there's a lot of things that need to be updated that was created at the time when y'all didn't have the option to choose for yourself.
Anton, what things need to be updated?
That's all we finish.
No, Anton, what things need to be updated? What laws need to be updated?
I think that we need to absolutely remove child support if somebody chooses to leave the house.
I agree. So that means that more men will not leave their seats after they put one in a woman in.
I think that we should absolutely abolish.
Because they had to put child support in place in the first place because men were just dropping their seeds and just leaving them.
They didn't even ask you the question. You asked me the question.
I'm just saying I agree. So that then maybe men, if we eradicate child support, maybe men will be smarter.
I think that we absolutely should. I think that we should do testing at birth. You should absolutely be able to test at birth. Did you know that a woman can put depending on what state that you're in, for example, Trey, that a woman can attach a man's name to a birth certificate and force him to pay child support for a child that may not even be his. And even if he proved that it's his, after she put his name on the birth certificate, he could still be held liable for that. And it has been guys that has been sent to jail as a result of it because the state cares more about the payment that comes through because it's basically an institution. That's real systematic. It's an institution that's created to continue to keep these judges and keep the system in place and keep the lawyers employed instead of actually doing the thing that's in the best interest of the child. Men go to jail every day for for children that aren't theirs, that are proven to not be theirs, but it doesn't even matter because it's left up to the discretion of the court. That should be changed 100%.
Anton, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you said something like we should be fighting for the majority and not the minority. Did you say something like that?
I said when we speak on issues, specifically with relationships, we speak on what the majority is doing and not the minority.
Okay. Because I think like and maybe what you're saying, it wasn't applicable to this, is like I think that the things you said are probably true, but I think they happen probably 1% of the time. Like
it doesn't. It happens every day.
Like the majority of men that are on child support aren't even paying full child support. 30% of them pay nothing.
Yeah, but if they don't pay, there's a warrant out for their arrest, and more importantly,
that's not
even
true.
if they, no, it is,
Yes, it
and
is.
even if for the ones that don't have a warrant out for their arrest, here's the key: that child support debt never goes away.
Arrears.
Correct.
100%. They get charged interest. They get charged arrears, and if you don't pay it, I know a guy whose children are grown, and he still owes back child support.
Well, tell him to take care of his kids. Why is it so
you don't want to have that conversation?
Why is it so easy for these men to walk
away?
Trey
asked me a question. He said, "What laws should be updated?" And
that's not always the situation. They not taking care of their kids that they paying child support. Because I done watched plenty of men. I have watched plenty of men take. Well, it's a lot of people's fault. I don't understand why you don't know what accountability is and why you're so snappy. The problem is, like I said, I know plenty of men that pay child support, and at the same time, what they do is take care of their kids. I watched my ex-husband. I watched him fight that system. I watched woke women like you going there and try to convince.
Why did he have to fight for his kids?
He didn't have to fight for his kids. We was raising the kids, and he was still paying child support because that's who he is. What I'm saying is, there's different situations and nuances, and for some reason, you think everything
he was taking care of them. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That's my point. It's called nuance. It's called a gray area. But you're saying one way
child support
and all.
But we were just talking about
it depends. Well, because child support has been abused. And don't sit here and act like you don't know that. Like, I don't know how you just sit there.
I know it can be abused.
Okay, so why won't you acknowledge certain things that you know to be true just so you could be combative?
I'm not. What I'm saying, what I noticed about you, particularly, Nikki, you lean very.
You ain't noticed nothing about me because I ain't said nothing.
You don't hold accountability for men at all. I hold accountability for both sides.
You don't know me.
That's the difference between you and I.
The only difference between you is I've been watching you for over a year, and you've only seen me maybe once.
Fan.
No, not a fan. The fan is for this show. But I actually do. I like the nuances on the show.
Yeah.
And you are a very pretty girl, but your spirit is very ugly.
That's
the problem with you.
That's her opinion.
It is. Because that's what you present. Like, because you know certain things to be true, you are very disingenuous. I know that on both sides is some bull. And I also know that you got, especially with laws going on and all this stuff going on in the judge's office, these women sitting here running everything, they got grudges. Ain't nothing fair. It needs to be rearranged. I'm not saying it should just be removed, but it definitely should be secured for pure deadbeats. Because if we don't have the money to pay something and they got to wait till we get paid, why do we expect them to just pop up with it magically? Why we can't wait till they get paid? You got a lot of women out here, they'll call and say the baby needs some shoes, and if he don't bring it right now, it's a whole issue. But hell, if you didn't have it, he got to wait till you get paid. Ain't nobody coming to collect child support on you. You a deadbeat too, and you sitting right in the house, probably don't even beat her. Like, come on now. So everybody need to be held accountable. Child support, I think, is for straight deadbeats, because spending time and helping out and having that physical man in the house helping you with your child counts too, because you have to do the same thing. Child support should be for men who just literally just do not care.
But
period. Point blank. They don't show up. They don't come around. They don't try. They don't do nothing. That's what I think child support should be reserved for.
I agree, but Nikki, didn't you just say that your child's father was on child support, but he was there for his kids? He's not a deadbeat, so why was he on child support?
No, she's saying the system is
exactly
flawed. So there are some people, some men that have custody of their kids.
That's exactly why the system's broken.
And they're still having to pay child support.
What do
like, I
y'all?
watch this judge.
But Jazz,
have to put him on child support though?
Yes,
Jazz, a man doesn't have to be a deadbeat to be on child support.
Well, I don't know how it is in all states. I know where I'm at. If a woman serve food stamps and she get on food stamps and get a check and all that, they automatically put him on child support.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that.
And here's the worst part. I'll give you another one, Trey. Here's a beautiful one.
They should change that.
There are guys that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just they need to rearrange. It just needs to be redone.
There are guys that documented it, showed up, actually didn't actually go on the system itself, but participated in the child's life, and also contributed into the child's life by giving money and making sure that, they actually documented. As a matter of fact, Eddie Curry, he's a former NBA player. He talks about this all the time. He said that he actually would participate in his child's life and he would actually give the woman money. He would give her more than she would have gotten had she got on child support, because they built a nice relationship and they were actually, co-parenting effectively in a child's life. Well, guess what happened? Because of child support laws and because of the way that judges have discretion to be able to do whatever it is that they wanted to do, once the kid turned 17, she went back and said that he never gave me anything officially on child support, and he had to pay back child support for 17 years, even though he had receipts that he had been giving her money that was more than what she would have gotten. And he wasn't in the NBA anymore. And so now he's getting garnished for the rest of his life because the judge's discretion said that he still owes that child support because he never officially got on the system. He participated in a child's life.
I agree. Like, that sounds crazy. That's super negative. I agree. I think that is an exceptional situation. I don't think that's the rule.
You would be surprised how many guys.
I think you're, Anton, I think you're right.
Listen. It's a multi-billion-dollar system annually. It is a racket.
It's a terror.
And I'm not saying that there aren't guys. I'm not saying that there aren't guys that some trash that need to be held accountable, similar to what Nikki said.
Right.
What I'm saying is, if we are not revisiting this and saying, listen, don't sit here and tell me that by default everything is just supposed to stay the way that it's been over the last 50 to 60 years. That's nonsense.
I agree.
But we will see people advocate and protest against it when it's not conducive for the child. Because if we're doing this, if you're raising it, the whole goal is what's best for the child, not how you can subsidize your lifestyle, not how you can get back at the guy, not because you pissed off that the child looked like the guy, or you pissed off that he's not with you, or he taking care of some other chick or whatever. And so this is how you get back at him. And I'm not saying that that's all women, but that is a lot of what happens. It's what's best for the child. And that's why people are advocating against it, because it'll cut off their lifeline and force them to have to get jobs or be responsible or take accountability for their life instead of doing what they're supposed to do that's best for the child. And there's a lot of situations. Do you know that people advocate against mandatory DNA testing at birth?
I think I probably would advocate against that.
You advocate against it for what?
Like, are you talking about for people that are married or just like single people?
In general, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
But why are you against it, Trey?
I would say if they married, I wouldn't say mandatory.
I think they should still get tested.
They should
still
if they're
having babies outside of marriages, like from other people. Like, maybe because I'm into watching stuff like that.
They do, but at the end of the day, when they do it, they still make the man take care of it because they was married.
Well, it depends. There's certain states that you can get in and you can separate your parental rights, because I was a victim of paternity fraud like that. And then so they should definitely test everybody, even if you're married.
I would support any man.
I'm not trying to break all these people's hearts and families up.
They should have did right.
Leave stuff the way.
You can't have it both ways.
I support any man.
Happy wife, happy life.
Hell no, that's the problem. That's how we got here.
How many years did it take you to figure out you weren't the daddy?
I found out after 9 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hell no.
Did you not suspect it at all?
Wait. You said you was married too?
Yeah, my first wife.
Prime example.
Like,
damn.
Prime example. I was married. My first wife.
She was still like, after you found out, she was still conscious and everything.
Well, it's a unique situation, man. Like I'm a glass house experiment with this conversation, right? So I was in the army, and I got married. Then I went back and forth to basic training and AIT, all my schools and everything. And then like within the early parts of our marriage, like we was only together like on paper like 5 years, but we was only together for like 3 of them. So in the toddler years of, of the baby, I call it the maybe baby. Because at some point when she started growing up, I noticed she didn't look like, she didn't have any of my features, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I ended up going to Iraq twice. I didn't have time to divorce her, you know what I'm saying? As efficiently as I'd like to. And then later on, I got to
do it.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
So later on in my time, I had somebody hit me up and let me know that my ex-wife was on the phone bragging to somebody that was a mutual friend saying that I'm not the dad. Like a real dumb flex. So I flew back home with a DNA test, did the swab myself, found out that she wasn't mine, and then I hired my family, my attorney that handled my divorce, and then I found out that the state that where it happened at, it was in Alabama. I found out that Alabama was one of other 13 states where you can, if you prove paternity, you can abolish your parental rights, and I did it. And even then, the judge was still trying to make me pay child support.
So here's the thing. Hold on, Q. So this is perfect. This is a perfect example. What Red Pill does is it makes guys situationally aware before they put themselves in that position in the first place. What they do, what it's supposed to do, is it's supposed to educate guys as to the do's and don'ts. If a guy comes to me today, for example, and I've had plenty of guys and I've gotten a lot of guys married, right? A guy comes to me today, he's a 40-year-old guy, and he meets a girl, right? And he says, Anton, I'm really successful. I love her. I'm the person that's going to snap him back to reality and say, okay, cool. I'm happy for you. I can't wait for y'all to get married. But did you do a prenuptial agreement? Let me make sure I put you with this lawyer. He's going to make sure that you do it the right way to be able to protect yourself, just in case 2 years from now that y'all decide that y'all want to get divorced, she's not taking half of your shit. You need to do it like this. You need to do it like, all it is information and the reality check of how you need to protect yourself, because when you seeing hazy because you in love, you can't see the reality of what you're going to be facing 2 to 3 years from now when the honeymoon phase is off. That's all it is.
Anson, I agree with you about prenups, and a man should do what he needs to do to protect himself. The thing what I disagree with is, like, Victor, your situation is crazy. I'm sorry. That's not normal. Like that.
Yes, the hell it is, Trey.
You'd be surprised how many people.
I'm telling you, a lot. I'm telling you,
I would acknowledge
if you haven't experienced what I'm telling you, you can't speak on it.
But that would be the equivalent of me being in a car accident and saying, well, you haven't been, so you can't speak on it.
Trey, if you've never been a victim of paternity fraud, you do not know what you're talking about.
But if I look up percentage of paternity fraud and I see that it's less than 10%,
but you can't look up percentage of paternity fraud percentage because how many people are lying about the paternity?
How many people?
You don't have a foundation to say that.
There's a lot of data that we can't actually add into this equation.
Exactly.
I know how many men probably never know. And we even just talk about today's men. Do you know how many guys actually think that they daddy is they daddy that ain't really they daddy?
They got TV shows based on this. Paternity.
It's a lot of guys, bro.
I'm not contending with the fact that you guys are saying a lot of guys, but I still believe it is the exception and not the rule. There's no way you guys will say that this is
your opinion is based on nothing
in the world.
And as is yours. Just because something happened to you doesn't mean it's happening to everybody else.
Well, I don't care.
It is happening.
It's happening. I agree, Nikki.
I know a lot.
You probably just don't know them people.
No, Nikki, I agree.
Let's say it's 5%. Let's say it's 5%.
Yeah, let's work out 5%.
You don't think that 5% is 5% too many?
I do think it is 5% too many.
So why wouldn't we adjust the laws to accommodate those guys to make sure that we have no paternity fraud?
I think that, in my opinion, I think that if a man is put on child support, he should be able to ask for a mandatory paternity test.
Why are you against mandatory paternity tests at birth?
So in theory, Anton, if a woman has a baby and writes your name down, I don't think the government should come and knock at your door and say, hey, we need your blood, we need your DNA. I don't think it should be able to do that to you. And I don't think I would be an advocate for the government having access to your DNA just because
the government has access and autonomy to be able. Hold on, wait. The government has access and the autonomy to be able to determine whether or not you're going to be on child support if she filed for divorce. The government automatically steps in by default.
Okay,
you don't have a choice. No. You don't have a choice.
But you do have a choice. You can get
because the minute that she files for a government assistance, they want to know, is it a man living in the house with you? And they're going to hunt down the person that is on that birth certificate to make sure that they file for child support.
And to my understanding, the man can then go to the court and say, hey, that child is not mine. And then there will be a mandatory paternity test.
No, because
if
you've taken, especially in certain states, if you've taken care of that child because you thought that it was your child, if you've taken care of it for however many long, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the judge has the autonomy to be able to say, no, that's your child. You got to continue to take care of it because you've been taking care of it. You can't come back and do a DNA test and then remove yourself from responsibility of it. They don't care.
I just explained that very scenario.
They don't care.
I just explained that very scenario. The judge was still trying to make me pay child support, even though the law says something different, and I got off of it.
Victor, I'm aware of your anecdote, and I appreciate your anecdote. I'm not saying that you're a liar.
So your thing is like, okay, I've been married for going on 5 years, and we have a 2-year-old. When I was giving birth, they asked like, okay, do you like him? Did you want to take one? Because it's been so many cases of where they'll have a baby and then it's like they're not the father. And so my nurse, she was actually talking to me and my husband, telling us that you would be surprised how many people have taken care of these kids for 9 years, 10 years. Sometimes they're adults and they will forever believe that they're that child's father. And the whole time they're taking care of another man's kid. So that's totally believable. And again, like, and to Victor,
these women need to go to jail for that.
Because my cousin went through the exact same thing, and it tore him up because he thought his 4-year-old son was his, and the whole time he came back from the army, and they got their paternity test, and he was like, "You're not the father," and it tore him up. So I completely understand where you're coming from on that.
Yep.
Can I?
No, I agree. I'll make it clear. I agree that it happens. I just don't think it's happening as frequently as you guys are portraying it.
There's what it's happening way more than what you think, Trey.
If you could prove that to me, I would love to see it.
Can I ask a question?
What you got,
tie back in the red pill. So Anton was saying, like, okay, this is what red pill does. It helps men to identify these situations, to avoid these situations. Okay, and my question is, how? How does the red pill help men to choose a woman that they know will not do something like paternity fraud? How does the red pill help to build a man's discernment to choose the right woman that is guaranteed to not hurt him in a way, by way of paternity fraud, or, you know, divorcing him to take him for everything? How does the red pill help build a man's discernment on choosing the right woman?
If I had to say, because I have something different than red pill that I have as my own brand called Accountable Masculinity. But if I had to say what red pill does, it depends on who you're consuming information from. Okay. Because there's prosperity preachers on every level of information. Like if you want to, like you got the sprinkle lady, you know what I'm saying? You got you know, whoever you can get your information from on the feminine side, right? But it depends on what catches your eye as a woman, because y'all don't date women, you know, unless you do. But men date women, so we know what we're looking at and dealing with based on what we can attract. I think the question you're asking is best answered by the source of information and where it comes from. The problem comes in is when women start consuming and paying attention to things that they don't like about what men discuss, because women have plenty of things that they discuss that men probably wouldn't find favorable, but we're not invading women's spaces to find out what we don't like, so we be mad about it.
So what are some things that you've heard, particularly in the red pill space, where you said, okay, I need to take this? Like, do you have any, like, this person said I need to do X, Y, and Z?
You want me to go answer the question for you?
But
I can answer the question for you.
I'm sorry, there was a delay. You said what?
I said I can answer the question for you if that's what you want.
Yeah, I was just curious on, like, how do they, like, what advice do they give guys to say? Is it a type of woman they say to avoid, a type of personality, a character?
Yeah, I mean, it's all encompassing. So, for example, we separate the difference between, I think it's a much different, there's a difference between a hoe and a housewife.
Yep.
And so a lot of times you separate it based off of the red flags. You can go and look for certain things that women do that would let you know that, she's the person that you're supposed to be marrying versus the person that you're not supposed to be marrying.
Question. So what are the red flags to show that this woman may do paternity fraud on you?
Y'all don't want to know that. You don't really want to know that answer.
I do. No,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
A lot of the characteristics.
Well, I'm not gonna answer that simply because
I can tell you.
I think it'll hurt y'all. It will really hurt y'all.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hurt your feelings on this one.
Hurt our feelings. I mean, y'all like doing that anyway.
Well, here's the thing. The reality of it is this right here. The main characteristics that men need to pay attention to are paying attention to women that are raised without their fathers, the ones that's raised by women. Most promiscuous women are raised by promiscuous women without their fathers, and they don't respect men. Women that come from a house full of women are red flags.
Men too.
Okay, so
yeah, of course, men too. We're talking about the women right now.
Okay, but no, but what I'm okay, all right.
She asked me for a red flag.
Are you saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and for women, don't date men that come from a house full of women. It's the same thing.
Okay, so are you saying that all women that have grown up without their fathers are like this?
No, the ones that fit the behavior.
Okay.
Majority.
So if two women can be born under the same roof without a father, and one not be promiscuous and the other one is, then how do you decide which one is which?
The behavior.
Okay, because if you don't know me, and I'm standing right here, and the other girls right here, we both say we came from a single parent home. Our mothers raised us. Our fathers wasn't there. How would you then know which one of us is promiscuous?
Oh, it's really simple. It's just your behavior.
Okay, my behavior. At what point do you observe my behavior to say, okay, she's promiscuous? At what point? Is it right when you meet me and you know that I don't have a father, or is it after we go on a couple of dates?
I can tell by the way you
talk.
talk.
What is the determining
I
factor?
can tell by the way you hold a conversation. If you combat
like how? Give me an example.
Jazz, you don't know what hoes look like? You're a woman.
Yeah.
No, I don't because here's what I'll tell you. A hoe is sitting right up in church right now, praising the Lord with a turtleneck on, right? Okay. A woman that barely has sex is walking around here with a mini skirt on with her titties out, right? So no, you can't look at a woman and say she's a hoe.
You don't
because you don't really know. You don't really know.
Absolutely can.
You don't
absolutely can.
Like, it's like character. Like we've been around.
But you have to get to know someone, right? Of course. Of course.
Can I define it?
That's why I'm asking.
That's why I just said behavior.
You have to get to know someone to understand their character.
It's behavior.
I was just going off of the initial interaction.
Well,
you meet a woman, you see a woman. How do you see that woman and say she's a promiscuous whore from a single parent household? How does the red pill help you to sharpen that eyeball?
Well, we talk about behavior. We let you talking shape that outcome.
You said you let us talking.
Can I ask his behavior? He said behavior first.
I think.
So what kind of behavior does a promiscuous woman portray?
Argumentative.
Really?
Is you trying to call Jazz a promiscuous woman?
That's fine.
It may not This is an 80.
That's very silly to say because there are plenty of women that are argumentative that are
virgins. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
So you're saying women who are argumentative in that debate are promiscuous?
They're not
There's
healthy
no way
for
you
a
can
relationship.
quantify that. Don't say it.
I'm sorry, what?
They're not conducive to a relationship, not a healthy one.
Wait, which one is it? Are they promiscuous or are they not conducive to a relationship?
Yeah, we immediately assume that you're promiscuous too, because if you're not getting what you want and let me explain.
What?
Let me explain.
So because a woman argues
let me
with
explain.
someone,
Do you want
Go
you
ahead.
want the explanation?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
All right. If you argue with me, right, on a regular basis, and you don't get what you want, and I don't get what I want, I'm gonna go get it from somewhere else, right? Until I find exactly what I'm looking for.
That makes you promiscuous?
Hear what the fact that I even have to explain it says yes.
What?
The fact that I have to explain it, meaning like if you don't get what you want from guy to guy to guy, that means you're promiscuous.
But just because if I don't get what I want from guy to guy to guy, so are you assuming that every guy that I come across, I'm sleeping with them?
No. Because promiscuous.
So if I'm not sleeping with them, but I'm with this guy, we're not compatible. I talk to this guy, we're not compatible. I talk to this guy, we're not compatible. I'm just confused on how, if I don't get what I want, how does that automatically mean? If I don't get what I want from this guy and this guy and this guy, how does that make me promiscuous?
Well,
that just means that I haven't found the right person for me yet.
What would your father say?
About what?
Everything you just asked.
I think he would be just as confused as I am, because how does a woman who is dating and not having sex with
When's the last time you talked to your father about this?
About this?
Yeah,
what do you mean about this?
Like just in dating and anything else dealing with men. When's the last time you talked to him?
I mean, I don't know about relationships. I don't know, probably the last time, probably around my birthday.
So how long ago was that?
Why does it matter?
Because I'm getting here we go.
It was in my birthday was in December. I don't know. Okay, so
was he married to your mom?
No.
That's my point. See, this issue is about single parents.
What's your point?
Single parents raise kids that are most likely going to end up being single parents.
But my mother didn't raise me as a single woman. She was remarried. If it
wasn't with your biological father, I got an argument.
I mean, that's like, and I know how y'all feel about stepfathers. Y'all think they're just the pits of hell. I'm
not talking about stepfathers. I'm not talking about
crash dummies. I know how this.
No. I'm not trying to talk about stepfathers. I'm talking about.
So you're assuming that because my biological father wasn't married to my mom, that I'm promiscuous.
No, I didn't say that. I just said it's a different behavior. I'm just saying it's a different behavior.
So, Jazz, can I ask you a question?
The reason I was able to ask the question, the reason that I was able to ask the questions as specifically as I did is because your behavior made me ask the question.
What is my behavior? I'm just asking you how the red pill helps you to look at a woman and say, this is a woman that's not going to.
I'm displaying it right now. I'm really mapping out your profile based off of red pill.
Okay, so give me my profile.
Argumentative.
Are you?
And you said every argumentative woman is promiscuous, right?
Listen to respond. You don't understand.
Can I ask Jazz a question? Q, one quick second. Sorry.
Be left asking. I think when it comes to red pill men, they're basing it on their experience. They're telling, just like Victor went through this whole thing, just like women, the little sprinkle shit. She's telling ladies, get a man with money, and she got her husband bringing in, sprinkle.
They're basically attractive.
Counter. So
but there's
the same thing. So,
but there's reasons why the red pill gets the bad name that it does. It's because a lot of the guys that do talk the rhetoric, they don't live by the standard that they're talking about.
Most of them don't live the standard that they talk about either, but they be out here showing their ass.
I don't understand how you could say a woman is on a panel that's debating topics is automatically promiscuous because she's sitting here debating.
I just said the behavior. I don't know what your life is. I said it's an 80-20
but my behavior
situation.
Is just debating.
It is an 80-20. It is an 80-20 situation. It is not the fact that you're debating.
So
it's the style.
So Jazz, can I ask you a question?
Victor, are you saying that
Victor,
women are even if you're not sleeping with them, they promiscuous
Hold on.
as long as they're dating?
No. I'm not saying.
No, I just want to ask. Let me
It's
ask one
fine.
question.
Let
I
So,
gotta
this question
go.
out first.
I've had enough tonight. I gotta go.
We gotta get a super chat because we gotta get out of here.
Okay.
Ashton, you can ask your question if she's still around, but let me get the
so,
super chat. Hold on,
okay.
Ashton. Am I sapiosexual for Miss Montgomery? God bless you. New Jersey will be at a deficit after this new $60 billion budget proposal. Governor Murphy is increasing taxes like never before on everything, even trucking. Red pill is results oriented. Want different red pill content change what gives results. AK good guys finish last. Nikki Mama Green, you hit the nail on the head. Women hate the red pill on paper, but in practice, they love it. In contrast, they like the idea of a nice guy, but hate it in practice. If Q take her love away from me, I'll go crazy. It seems people don't get what RP, red pill is.
Yep.
What it is truly is getting men on board with modern era dating / relationships. Most of it is self-improvement first. Kevin was an imitation Tommy Sotomayor, stage calls copy and Tommy. Only reason Kevin Samuels' suits went viral was because women refused to take accountability compared to men, and toxicity goes viral. Kevin Samuels never claimed red pill. He exposed men and women's unrealistic expectations in dating. It says, you can tell Jazz came ready to talk tonight. Over here, channeling her inner Shirley Tulsa. A house is a liability, not an asset. You need to invest in order to create generational wealth. What's your point, Jazz? Red pill is more than dating. It's men's self-development, a development that builds a society and then leads it. Red pill builds men to lead, provide, and protect their families. Jazz pulling a full Jasmine Crockett with the lies. Can somebody tell Jazz to shut the heck up? Jazz don't want anything. Jazz don't know anything about FNF. Only saw clips. Jazz once again displaying how she can't comprehend. There's some truth to what Jazz is saying about Fresh and Fit, but it could be exaggerated. Shout out to Slimmy. Anton, you got to stop Jazz lighting, bro. Red pill was created by a Black woman. She wrote The Matrix. The whole concept of red pill couldn't tear women down. Wake up. Wait, true. What?
Yep. The same lady that wrote Terminator wrote The Matrix.
I didn't know that. Jazz equals hit dog hollering. Anton is right. OnlyFans was not made for what we see it as. It was made to give fans exclusive content from celebrities and turn it into porn only. Red pill intent is honesty. Either the hammer builds a house or it causes harm. Jazz, am I dying to know your origin story to oppression? And on just on Pop Balloon. Benevolent, brilliant, and beautiful. Miss Michaela Montgomery. Jazz and Jess watched 5 FNF shorts, 10 minutes, and now they think they know something about red pill, which has been around for 20 plus years. Jazz be so out of control with Molly, not around to handle her. Jazz on the tone, hey, Jazz, you need a 5-9. You sound backed up. Oh, come on, y'all. I put money that the woman in Jazz family are single and married. I understand red pill or it came from white men mostly, but taking manhood back. Women spent years talking about we don't need men. If he does, leave him. If he's not happy, leave him. The moment guys decide to try to save family by telling you the truth, it's bad. That's a good point. Michaela and Nikki are so refreshing. Shout out to Molly. Jazz, the most professional bum victim with a cam. Oh, third paternity test, come back negative. Always a great show when someone is cooking Jazz. Jazz is beautiful, but her spirit nasty as hell. But I'm all the DMs though. X out emotions when logic is needed. Please, Nikki, you need to pipe down. You're our elder, and you're supposed to be the example. Too old to be that nasty and aggressive. If a woman can decide to abort a baby, then a man should be able to abandon one without repercussions. It's only fair. Jazz shutting up plus equals understanding. Trey's a super simp. Nikki versus Jazz. Nikki for the win. Yeah, because being married has always stopped a woman from getting pregnant by someone other than her husband. Shout out to Learn More. Mandatory paternity test before a child leaves the hospital. Red pill is becoming a religion. People going to go against it. 4 out of 10 paternity tests come back with bad news. 1 out of 3 men tests turned out to not be the father. To sit up and say Victor's experience is an outlier blows my mind. We need actual parents who live it to chime in on this topic. Y'all named 10 examples and Trey called all of them exceptions. So y'all named 10 exceptions. Trey from now wear a wig when you're on the panel. Between these delusional Democrats and Trey spewing beta blue pill rhetoric, I'm never rocking blue ever again. You love your lineage, but you reject your own hair. Trey is a clown. You asked me for proof in 2025. The proof is called the Mary Povich Show Idiot and the other 10 shows that copied off of Mary's show. You are not the father. Trey is extremely disingenuous. The percentage of paternity fraud in the United States is estimated to be as high as 30%, but there's no official data. Trey, you is cut. U.S. says paternity fraud rates range from 0.8 30%. There's a video on YouTube of a judge who raised 3 grown kids. He found out 50 years later. It's crazy. We're almost done. Trey, most men find out they're not the father during events such as organ donation, blood transfusion, and ancestry lookup. Seen from life, who's the daddy of this chocolate baby? I'm the pappy. I'm sick of hearing Jazz. Can we hear from Michaela? Jazz, was your mom this combative with your stepfather? My God, Jazz. He said behavior 20 billion times. Jazz, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You gotta let people talk. 30% of DNA tests show false paternity. The red pill aren't rules to live by. It's not a prescription or commandments. The red pill is only being aware of the truth and moving accordingly. Get the DNA test at birth. That saves years of court battles and lawyer fees. Jazz has effed up relationship with her biological father and probably tolerated the men who raised her. Jazz is a cutie when she's not talking. Her and Trey both have some smooth brains. Last one. Damn, Q, you don't know who Shirley... No, I don't. You're officially not allowed to speak on Black topics again. Okay. But shout out to you guys. I think that when it comes to the red pill, I think there are some men that have dimmed what red pill really is. So it gave it like the negative aspect of things. And that's why like social media is like, ooh, red pill. But if it's what Anton explained it to be, I don't see nothing wrong with it because women do that shit all the time. They've been doing it prior to them. You know?
I feel like, much like Anton said, a lot of men have never felt a safe space to express how they feel. And a lot of men don't necessarily have a space in which they feel like they can hold other men accountable, i.e., which is why we have red pill content. Like a lot of the men have pointed out, it started out as something that was to be a self-development tool for men. This is what you should be doing as a man. This is how you should be acting as a man. You cannot go out here and brand yourself as a protector, a provider, and the head of the household if you're not actually protecting and providing and able to take care of the household. Now, when we move to the conversations and things about child support, I do believe in mandatory testing at birth. I don't believe in the abolishment of the system, period. However, you know, of course, there was the whole debate about paternity fraud and all of those things. I'm sorry, Trey, but those examples that were given were not anomalies at all. We know plenty of people who have raised children that weren't theirs, i.e., we heard Kanye West rapping about it all the way back in 2005, 20 years ago, talking about 18 years, and on the 18th birthday, he found out it wasn't his. Lastly, though, I think that when it comes to red pill content, women unfortunately get upset about some of the things that men say, but these are the same women who, you know, feel like they can trash talk men all the time. I think unfortunately social media has become a very toxic space in which we do give toxic people platforms. So for us to bring up Fresh and Fit as an example, that's probably one of the most toxic examples of a hey, men, this is what you're supposed to be doing. When we look at Kevin Samuels, the examples that were brought up were correct. Kevin Samuels were holding men accountable because men were calling in and he was saying, sir, if you can't afford this woman, you don't need to talk to this woman. Sir, if you have to worry about how much the bill costs, you probably shouldn't be out taking nobody nowhere, you know? But unfortunately, the only clips we can think of are women who called in and talked about how they were, 5'2" and 230. And Kevin Samuels said, well, the man you want, you're not going to get because you don't look the part. And while that might sound harsh, it's true. So, you guys, I feel like red pill content is for the men. We have the sprinkle content for the women. At the end of the day, does it mean that everybody who speaks is right? No, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And all of you as independent thinkers are supposed to take said information and decide for yourself if you believe that this is it or this is not it. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, we believe that people who have a large following, their opinions are law. And that's not the case. Because just like how Jazz brought up that men were defending raping women or trying to blame women for being raped, that's not the idea. That's not the mindset of every red pill content man. Yet just because he has a large following, it is kind of dangerous for them to be implying things like that for the young and impressionable minds. That I can agree with. However, again, we are all grown and responsible for the decisions that we make. If a man wants the title of being the head of household, he should be able to be the head of said household. If a woman wants a certain type of man, at the end of the day, she does have to know how to bask in her feminine energy, because you're not going to attract a very masculine alpha male if you yourself act as an alpha male. So women, we have red pill content as well. And so it's like, unfortunately, our red pill content isn't as popular as our blue pill content because this new age of feminism and you don't need a man and we can trash talk them, da 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 da. Like it's bad on both sides, and both sides deserve the blame. At the end of the day, you have a bunch of men telling you this is what you got to do to get some pussy, and then you have a bunch of women telling you this is what you got to do to swindle money out of a man. You know, and so either way, both parties are wrong, but you as an adult, you as a woman, you can decide if somebody can buy your pussy. And you as a man, you can decide if whether or not somebody's going to swindle you out of your money. Like some people are called simps for taking women's on dates, you know, for being a serial dater, while other men are seen as providers because they can afford to be a serial dater. So again, this is all subject to your individual opinion and your individual experience. Only you know the type of person that you want to be, and only you know the type of relationship you would like to be in. So why in the world would you even be looking to influencers in the first place to tell you what your relationship should look like? That's like us going to all of these different prophets who are trying to tell us what our relationship with God looks like. You can go to 3 different churches and they'll all tell you that your worship system or your way of, you know, talking to God and getting close to God, they're going to give you 3 different means of doing it. Some people will say you have to go to church every week. You got to do Bible study. Other people will tell you that your relationship with God is simply your relationship with God and you build it how you choose. You understand? The same goes for your relationships with other people. So while I understand that red pill, blue pill, whatever, this type of content might have, of course, shaking things up in the dating world, it only goes to show how much people aren't thinking for themselves anymore. And I think that that's the real issue that we really need to address. Because why is a man, chest out, arms up, a man looking to another man to tell him how to be a man, and that man isn't his father? Why is a woman chest down, teeth out, looking at another woman, telling her how to be a woman? Like at the end, and that's not your mother. So again, y'all did all of this, but y'all can watch an influencer all day. People watch this debate go on for the last 3 hours, and guess what? People are still going to form their own opinions, regardless of how right or how wrong each of us as panelists were. And that's all I have to say on.
Well, before we leave, make sure we're going to go through each panelist. Tell the people where they can find you. Go ahead, Michaela, you start off. Where can the viewers find you?
Okay, hello, everybody. I am on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Cashapp. No, but it's all the same name, Miss Kayla Baby, as you guys can see right here under my name. I appreciate all the love, and, you know, I'll be back, y'all.
Thank you for coming. Trey, you don't want to be found?
I don't want to be found. If you try to look for me at antondaniels.com.
Trey owes child support. That's why he's hiding.
Exactly. That's why I don't want those mandatory paternity tests. Exactly.
Yeah. Nikki, where can you be found?
You can find me on TikTok and on YouTube at Just a Brown Girl in America. And it's not a lot of content. I haven't got rammed back up yet. So, but we working on it. We getting there.
Okay.
I'm working on our local MERS race. Miss Tashara Jones, I'm in St. Louis, posted a fake ad about her opponent being cool with MAGA. So it's getting pretty hot around right here.
Getting hot. Jess?
Yeah.
You can follow me at itsme_gorgeous on all social media platforms.
Okay. Ashton?
Yeah, I can be found at you_no2 W's entertainment on IG.
IG. Okay, Victor?
You can find me on YouTube at Accountable Masculinity University, and you can go on Amazon and look for the book Accountable Masculinity. It's about identifying the disciplined man in you. Everybody talking about red pill and blue pill. I'm talking about the gold pill. Where you trying to go? Not GOLD. What goals are you trying to accomplish in life? And every man could benefit from this. Is based off of 5 rules, you know, and check the book out. It's available on Amazon. I dropped the link in the chat already. You know what I'm saying? And you find me on IG at InternetStepDaddy. You can find me on Facebook at Victor Vinciant too. So.
Okay. What about you, Angel? Can't be found either?
Oh, I can. I'm on TikTok and Facebook. It's Angel Jones.
Angel Jones. Well, now I appreciate you guys coming on the panel today. If you're interested to come on the panel, you got to DM me in IG. Just put panel. Men, if you've been on here, let the other men. It's about a lot of men waiting. Okay. Please be patient in my DMs. Don't call me because I'm not going to pick it up. Okay. And IG.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Q, I don't like how you had me on layaway.
Trust me, my DMs are crazy. Like I don't even open my DMs on the weekday. I only go on Sunday and Monday. So you waste your time. Don't DM me any other days, you guys. I'm not gonna look at it. But ladies, if you're interested, hit me up. But I do appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you. Tune into the Millionaire Morning Show mañana and go follow these content creators, you guys, and be nice to them. Don't go on their platforms and saying some mean shit. Don't do that. We're not about that.
I'll cook you.
Adios, you guys. Bye.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Look here, folks. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in and staying committed. Appreciate everything y'all do to support what I got going on. You've seen the feed, and you guys been rocking with it for a minute. I told y'all when I started talking about behavior, it shows itself. I don't have to do anything. And they eventually just fill in the profile because that behavior cannot be dismissed. And even when I said it, she just kept trying to combat me, kept trying to combat me. So, and it's not anything personal. Don't know her. First time I ever had an interaction with her, you know what I'm saying, outside of seeing her on the panel and everything. But when people ask you, how can you tell based off of red pill content if there's a chance that a woman won't be for you or how you evaluate her? It's based off how she interact with other people. If she's doing that with other people, what makes you think that you're gonna be exempt? Argumentative. She thinks debating requires all of the animation, and it doesn't. You just have to be willing to listen, and listen to understand and interpret it, and not look for a way to just prove your emotional standpoint. Just take the information and say, hey, I'll take that into consideration. But nah, you just want to listen, and so you can find a way to confirm your biases, and that's not the point. And you see, she rage quit. Yeah, you seen that, Dia? Hey, over there got cooked and then rage quit. Stop playing, man. Stop playing with me. This ain't even hard to say. I ain't even had to say much. There would be no peace with that woman. Absolutely. I ain't even had to say much, bro. I just said I answered her questions and it pissed her off. Think about that. When you answer a person's questions and it pisses them off because they don't want to hear the answer, it's like you was already assuming that you had the answers for the test, and then that response that you got wasn't in line with what you thought you already knew. People don't like their worlds destroyed, man. And it don't even take a whole lot to destroy somebody's self-perception. You answer a question, and if you know the truth, you stand on business. You don't have to flake, Yeah, man, like that rage quit is funny, though. She didn't even give a damn about trying to stay on and find out what's going on. Hey, shout out to my man, Dedrick. Hey, yeah, dude talking about percentages. He's like, I have been a victim of paternity fraud, and it happens daily. Yeah, man, it's nothing worse than somebody listening to your authentic experience to come back and say something weird to you, Hey, appreciate you, William. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, sir. Man, hey, I really appreciated Anton Daniels and the rest of the panel, Island Girl Q, for bringing me on so I can say my piece. I know I didn't get a chance to talk as much as I didn't know what I anticipated. I was just happy to be there so I could support. But yeah, Trey a different case. I ain't protect Michaela. Yeah, for real. And like, guys, what I wanted y'all to see on this too, because when it got to the red pill stuff, was showing y'all how radicalized the red pill has become to some women. See, when you listen to women talk about red pill content, they're going to pick out the thing that they cannot agree with. They will never talk about, they never use the lead attorney as a good example of, like what good content for men that they can learn from. They'll never use that guy. I'm sure there's some other guys out there. Like, I've only studied the behavior of the men that follow red pill content. And one of the things I didn't get a chance to say was that same red pill content that triggers those women and it triggers those men, that both those communities are raised by the same type of household. You see, when I asked her, what does your father think about your perception of men based on red pill content. And there was that long stutter, that long pause, because she ain't got no relationship with her daddy. Because if she can make any assumptions about men, then why not make some about that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm only reacting to the way that you responded. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And when you get down to it, we got to be careful about making assumptions of stuff just because of the opposite gender. You have to observe the behavior. And if you see the behavior, you can't overlook it. The behavior is how that person thinks. What they do tells you about their thought process. That's why when you say, why would somebody do something that stupid? Because it's what stupid people do. They make dumb decisions. You know what I'm saying? They make decisions that we would never uphold or support or promote. Not in the disciplined thinking community, you know. Let me go through these chats real quick. Yeah, going back over here. My man, shout out to my man Diesel. Going back to the boycott stuff. Without an agenda, the boycott is useless. Absolutely. The DEI didn't even start in corporate America until George Floyd died, and y'all didn't have any issue spending there. We got to learn the difference between productivity and activity. When Minister Farrakhan proposed a boycott in 2015, he was laughed at. A white man suggested, and now black folks is all in. That's very, very true. And real solutions require accountability. So, and shout out to my man Diesel for contributing to tonight's platform. Hang on a second. We got my man Jared Walker. The crazy thing is we can black out on stores, but not cease to black out on killing our own people. Yep. I said we need to boycott YNs. That's what the new phrase is nowadays anyway. So, and here we go. Oh, Gail Bernard. Yeah, look at that face. I see you, baby. Ma'am, why does that not matter? Because look, that's when he got caught up on all that race stuff. Look, folks, we are not going to move the conversation forward being hung up on trying to make other people feel the way that we feel. That's delusion. You can't even do that with the people in your own family, but we're supposed to make a whole different demographic and a different class of people think differently, you know what I'm saying, to empathize with our problems or what we believe is a problem. Yep. So professional victimhood ain't gonna get us nowhere. It ain't gonna push us forward. You know what I'm saying? and Jazz is definitely the reason why nobody wants to listen to black people, especially black women. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. You ain't finna communicate effectively with nobody by thinking and communicating that way and being disrespectful and stepping all over, you know what I'm saying, folks' situation. So here we go. Yeah, man, that was a crazy icebreaker when we had going on. Yeah. Shout out to the Average Black Man Show. Yep, got on the panel with him. Got on there, man. It was a good experience. I'll do it again. Hopefully they want to have me back because I still had some more stuff I needed to talk about. Trey was on there talking crazy, talking about everything he said ended up in being something negative. He didn't say nothing positive. Nothing. And he said he didn't know any. He started off when he was talking about Ukraine. He said he didn't know anything about it. And then he was sitting there having an extended conversation on how to defend it without knowing anything about it. It's ridiculous. Foreign policy be killing a lot of people. They just got to be part of the conversation. Yeah, opinions aren't always based on facts. So you can't say nobody can tell you your opinions are wrong. You can't lead into a convo about men when when men correct you, you deflect instead of actually listening for comprehension. Dedrick, spot on. Like we're supposed to be having a conversation to allow information to change our opinions with facts and lived experience. If you don't date women, how can you say it isn't a majority? Men see it daily. We don't have to choose them to see and hear it. I don't think Trey has the same type of experience with relationships that most men do. That's just my opinion. It's got to be a mental illness to not be able to listen for comprehension. Yep. Dedra, the next time I do a panel, you want to be on it? Okay, bro. We can do something. Folks don't be understanding how jacked up these courts are and have been to men. These women literally do that shit out of spite or greed. It happens daily. Yep. And that was when the topic was about paternity fraud and child support and how men get exploited. I've been saying this for a long time too. Like when people was talking, I think Jazz brought up about America's culture, when the icebreaker conversation happened and it went down the line for identity politics. And I believe it's something completely different. I believe that America's foundation is about human trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at every institution and every financial system that deals with relationships, from marriage to divorce to child support to the foster care system, all of it pivots off of sexual discipline and human trafficking, even down to population control, property taxes, how schools get funded, you name it, all the way down to abortion clinics. So there's a lot of details that go into how we are where we are society-wise. How can Trey advocate against mandatory DNA testing, married or not? There are a lot of fraudulent families out there. Yeah, I do not understand. Like, see, that's how you know you're talking to an op. Any man that has a problem with mandatory DNA testing, you can't trust that man. Like, why would you? Come on. Dude talking about percentages. I have been a victim of paternity fraud and it happens daily, dude. It's more common than you can imagine. My man Lawrence versus Low. Damn, blocker. I think he was talking about Jazz. Nope, she don't get it. For sure, protect Michaela and Nikki. Got up out of there. Rage quit. Yeah, Trey weird. But folks, I appreciate you guys riding it out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys get a chance to see this again. I'm gonna cut some clips out of it. But this has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. And you see why I call it the end of the gender war, because these are the type of conversations you got to have to make things make sense. We got to think critically, and we got to have a better representation of ourselves to get better feedback. Relationships are reflective. Remember that. So until next time we see you, hey, go get the book. You see it in the chat. Holler at your boy. Become a subscriber on the YouTube channel. And I'm out. Appreciate y'all.